So the last couple of days have been a bit fraught with the fear that the ceasefire might not continue. Obviously, we spoke about the ceasefire before in a previous video and kind of how tenuous the agreement pretty much is. And basically, the Western media has basically been saying, oh, Hamas might cancel the ceasefire because they're unhappy, and they kind of ignore the fact that Israel has been continuously violating the ceasefire. Now, I got two articles which talk about Israel actually violating the ceasefire, and there's one which by the New York Times about the ceasefire actually continuing. It's the most recent article I could find on it. It's published 3 hours ago as of me recording this. I did watch something earlier this morning about that, but the New York Times version of events will be a little bit more pro-Israel than the other thing I'd seen earlier this morning. But let's go through Middle East Eye's reporting on how Israel violated the ceasefire. So they have a really comprehensive breakdown of it. I've got the Al Jazeera article as well, but Middle East Eye actually break it down into its different chunks, which is a lot easier to digest. So I do always recommend now Middle East Eye because it's like a more digestible version of Al Jazeera. But let's just talk about some of the points. Well, we're going to talk through all of them. So continuing daily attacks, Israel has been continuing to kill Palestinians in Gaza. I know the ceasefire doesn't include the West Bank, but they've also been doing it in the West Bank. But in Gaza, they've been continuing to kill Palestinians. They say that 92 people have been killed since the start of the ceasefire. And that's, again, only the people that they are able to record or able to find in these attacks. These attacks include, I think, bombings as well as being shot by Israeli soldiers. Humanitarian aid obstruction, this is another big one. So obviously they were like, there needs to be 10,000 thousands of trucks going in a day, hundreds, and it's it's not really what's happening, unfortunately. Israel has blocked the entry of 60,000 mobile homes and 200,000 tents, as well as heavy machinery used to remove the rubble. I did see earlier a video, I think on Middle East Eye's social media, of just the mobile homes being just stuck at the border, at the crossings to get into Gaza, because Israel's just not letting them through. Israel's not even letting in tents. Truck drivers at the Egypt-Gaza border told Reuters that construction materials and tents have been blocked from entering since the start of the ceasefire. This is literally what everyone knew would happen, what I said. Israel probably will not allow all of these things to happen, and the Western media will try and find a way to pin it on Hamas and just not let anything in. Lack of fuel and solar panels. Yeah, so they let 15 trucks full of fuel and power, and there was meant to be 50 daily. Again, they're doing this game where they let a little bit in, and the Western media's like, see, look how amazing Israel is, they're letting it in. And then it's like, yeah, but it's a fraction of what was agreed to be let in. It's crazy, and it's just this hypocrisy we keep seeing. Delaying imprisonment delays. I mean, if you even remember the very first day, they continued killing Palestinians because there was a delay. Israel's been pushing back the actual, giving prisoners over. They've that doesn't even include the whole, attacking the families of the prisoners, both in the West Bank and Gaza, or kidnapping their family whilst they're releasing them. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting, the kind of things Israel are doing to prisoners. And then Donald Trump's statements, it's not great when he says, we're going to colonize Gaza, I'm going to take control of Gaza. Obviously, sometimes the media were like, that's not a real threat. It's just Trump saying silly things, but to Hamas and to the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, this is a very real statement, because Israel is a colony of the United States, and if the United States is now saying, well, instead of letting our colony just take it, we're going to take it ourselves and make it our own colony. So all of these things are the reason why Hamas, rightfully so, are like, well, you guys aren't keeping up your end of the deal. Why are you why should we keep putting up our end? Because Hamas is always complying with all of these terms of the ceasefire, and Israel's just like, we don't need to, because the US will just let us murder all the Palestinians we want regardless. And it's just disgusting. Now let's look at how Al Jazeera has been reporting on this. Al Jazeera's article is a little bit older than this Middle East Eye one. So about halfway down this article, it's like, did Israel violate the ceasefire? Yes. I'm like, you're down to the point. And I think they reiterate things like not letting aid in. So like Israel only allowed 8,500 trucks. It should have been 12,000 by now. In terms of shelters, 200,000 tents are stipulated in the first phase, but only 10% have been allowed into so far. So people don't even get to sleep in the tents they're meant to be in, and none of the 60,000 mobile homes. Again, these are like big things. I do like Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera does have these like infographics. No heavy machinery allowed in. 50 patients were allowed less than 15% have been allowed to leave. Only 10% of the 200,000 tents. 600 aid trucks were allowed in daily. Only 70% have made it through. So not even the full amount. They're still killing people. Hamas has met all obligations. Israel said Hamas has not freed a female civilian captive as promised, and retaliated by delaying the return of Palestinians to their homes in northern Gaza. They were released eventually. So basically, and even they're saying like that the news in Israel is divided on it. I mean, the far right doesn't like this anyway. So the far right are like, see, look, Israel is not keeping up their end of the bargain. Hamas is keeping up their end of the bargain. Well, this is what the far right are saying in Israel. They're basically, neo-Nazis in Israel. And even Donald Trump's weighing in, says, Israel should cancel the ceasefire. It's just stupid. It's just... These people want to play games with the lives of people, and it's disgusting. And Israel is violating the ceasefire. Trump is basically doing what Biden did, but he's like actually saying it. Biden would always be like, hey, Jack, Israel has a right to defend themselves, any means necessary. And then Trump is just like, yeah, Israel can just kill Palestinians however they like. Like, Trump at least says it, and Biden was just like, where's my ice cream, and let me try and find a way of making it believable that I don't want to help Israel murder the Palestinians. It's just... And to both of them, it's a game. To all these US politicians who are pro-Israel, it's a game to them. They don't care. They just know that their country is getting richer, and they're, well, more so the wealthy in their country are getting richer, which means they're going to get richer, and it's just a game to these people. Now let's look at the New York Times' article. Again, New York Times, but they are the only ones I've seen actually commenting on Hamas being like, yeah, we want to continue the ceasefire. Even Middle East Eye, I don't think is up to date on this. Maybe Middle East Eye is waiting for better posterity. So like, I've got here, Hamas said on Thursday that it is ready to release Israeli hostages this weekend as laid out by Gaza's ceasefire agreement after the fragile deal teetered this week, prompting more pessimism about the future. Mahmoud Mardawi, a Hamas official, said in a text message that the hostage for prisoner, these aren't prisoners, these are Palestinians that have been kidnapped. Exchange was set to go ahead on Saturday as long as Israel upheld its end of the deal. He said mediators had told Hamas that Israel said it was committed to the deal. Well, that's up in the air because Israel keeps violating it. Israel did not immediately comment on this, and other statements by Hamas described diplomatic progress. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, was consulting with security chiefs in southern Israel on Thursday afternoon, his office said. Even Trump is like... President Trump added a further complication by demanding that all the remaining hostages be freed by Saturday or all hell is going to break out. Well, that's not how the deal works, is it? And Trump's own people were like, yeah, it's going to be gradual. Well, if all the Israeli, hostages are going to be released, why isn't he calling for all the Palestinians to be released? And look, like, they're also commenting about Hamas's complaint that only a small number of them, they're not actually going into the numbers like the others were. Obviously, they have a vested interest in being pro America. Even they added this. Yeah, it's just disappointing. Just disappointing reporting from the West, but they're the only ones who have the most recent article on what's going on at the moment. But yeah, just disappointing from the New York Times. Go to the Middle East Eye. I think theirs, again, is the most comprehensive and easiest broken down, but this video is going to go up on the 14th of February. Let's hope by Saturday everything continues and the Palestinian people have some respite from this mass murder. But keep up any activism you're doing, keep up going to protests, keep up sharing the message, keep up doing what you can in your local area, keep up what you're doing, talking to your politicians if you need to. I know they don't often listen, they just give you a boilerplate answer, but do keep it up. Keep up everything you're doing, because these people will do what they can to continue killing the Palestinian people and continue to oppress all peoples globally if they could.